After Henry robbed the bank, he prepared to get in the car and escape, but he was pushed out of the car by his teammate. Henry was a bit confused, but the police car had already chased after them. He immediately started running. He stole a bicycle on the road, then rode into an alley. Fortunately, Henry knew the terrain well. The police didn't catch up with him. At this time, a train happened to be passing by. Henry immediately climbed onto the train, just as he was celebrating his escape. He didn't understand why his teammates abandoned him. It turned out Henry was a locksmith. He had been kidnapped and brought here by robbers. Karen said they were going to rob a bank. As long as Henry opened the vault door lock, they would give him $5 million. After Henry heard this, he agreed. Karen disguised herself as a socialite. She brought Henry to the bank's vault. A huge door lock appeared before them. Henry was shocked after seeing it. He had never seen such a complex door lock. He was afraid he didn't have the ability to open it. Karen began encouraging Henry at this time. She said this was his chance to prove himself, so Henry prepared to give it a try. He pressed his ear against the safe, then started turning the lock wheel, listening to the structural echoes of the safe. Through Henry's continuous attempts, he finally successfully opened the door lock. There was a pile of cash in the vault. The two immediately started loading the money. Liam stayed to cover his teammates, so he distracted the bank staff's attention. Henry successfully escaped through the back door. This operation was very successful. They stole $50 million. Soon the robbers launched a second operation. This bank had very tight security, so they had to be extra careful. Henry carried a suitcase into the bank. Emily was responsible for relaying messages. After Henry entered the elevator, the security guard noticed an anomaly on the surveillance. When the elevator opened, the security guard was already standing at the door. Karen knocked out the security guard with one punch. The battle ended quickly. Henry came to the safe. He couldn't help but admire it. He thought the safe's lock wheel was like a work of art. Then Henry started preparing to pick the lock. At this time, the police had already received the news. They quickly launched an arrest operation. Liam blocked the bank entrance. To distract the police's attention, Henry started turning the lock wheel, but he triggered the security system. The internal structure of the door lock changed. It quickly switched positions. Even the lock wheel disappeared. Henry had to turn another lock wheel. Through his continuous efforts, this time he didn't trigger the security system. Finally, he successfully opened the door lock. After they took the jewelry from the vault, they started evacuating. After Liam received the news, he also started escaping through the back door, but he encountered the bank's security guard. The security guard immediately opened fire. After the bank hostages heard the gunshots, they immediately ran toward the door. Karen and Henry also took the opportunity to run out of the bank. Henry threw the money into the car, then prepared to get in, but he was betrayed by Liam. Karen wanted to go back and save Henry, but she was stopped by Liam. It turned out he liked Karen. He saw her being very intimate with Henry, so he pushed Henry out of the car. But Karen didn't like Liam. She directly jumped out of the car. She prepared to save Henry by herself. Emily also was disgusted by Liam's behavior, so she also got out of the car. At this time, Henry returned home feeling disappointed. He had just opened his room door. Then he saw Karen and Emily. He was startled. Karen explained what had happened, then began apologizing. She hoped Henry could continue cooperating with them, since he had feelings for Karen. Henry agreed. They planned to rob an armored car. Karen first hid in the driver's cabin. While the security guards were chatting, she quickly knocked out the guards. At this time, Henry came to the cargo area. There was a huge safe inside. He started turning the lock wheel. Since the car was moving, Henry couldn't concentrate on picking the lock. Soon the car entered a smooth road section. Henry held his breath. He successfully opened the door lock. Karen drove the car to the roadside. There was a large amount of cash in the safe. They were very happy. Liam suddenly found them. He resented Henry for stealing Karen away, so he fired his gun to scare him, but there were no bullets in the gun. Karen quickly raised her pistol. She successfully subdued Liam, then tied him to the car. When the police arrived, Liam was immediately arrested. At this time, Karen and Henry had already driven away. They came to a dock, but they encountered pursuing police. Karen stayed to cover Henry. She told him to drive the yacht away. In the end, Karen was captured by the police.